Joining us now is CNN senior military analyst Admiral James Stavridis. He's also a former NATO Supreme Allied Commander and a partner at the Carlyle Group, a global investment firm. He's also the author of the newly released book, The Admiral's Bookshelf. Admiral, thank you so much for being here on this Sunday night. I want to start first with what Betsy was just talking about. Trump isn't ruling out military force to take control of Greenland. What is your reaction to that?
Well, let's start with the value of Greenland. It is immense. The president is correct about that. And we've tried to buy Greenland twice, once in 1867, once in the 1950s. We actually purchased the Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands from Denmark. So it's not a crazy idea. But here's the problem, Jessica. Denmark isn't selling. The Greenlanders aren't selling. In fact, they've said very dramatically that we are not for sale, but we're open for business. So I think the approach to be taken here, if we can pull Greenland toward us, perhaps with a kind of free association like we have with the Marshall Islands in the Pacific, that may be a smart way to go about this. Bottom line, you don't want to send the 82nd Airborne up there, but you probably want to send up the Secretary of the Treasury, the trade representative, maybe the Commandant of the Coast Guard. Let's make this a win-win, working with Denmark and with the Greenlanders, and pull Greenland as close to us as we can.
And I know you commanded the base where Vice President Vance visited this week as the U.S. European commander. I want to listen to what the former Danish Prime Minister Helle Thorning-Schmidt told our Fareed Zakaria this morning.
This is a place where the Americans have basically scaled back and scaled back over the years. So the Americans have also taken a peace dividend in Greenland. But I do think it's fair to start discussing, should that end now? Are we in such a new situation? So we all have to scale up in Greenland. Denmark has just decided to invest massively in Greenland's security. And the irony of all this is that the Americans could do exactly the same.
Admiral, I heard you in that first answer saying that you really believe strategically it's about America pulling Greenland closer, working with the Danish government. But also, can you help people understand the strategic importance of that U.S. base and if we should be considering building it back up?
Yeah, it's a crucial base. It's well north of the Arctic Circle, as you can see in the graphic you're showing. It guards the entrances to the North Atlantic. It provides air defense against anything coming from Russia to the north. It also provides bases and access for our submarines. They're guarding against Russian submarines moving south. And oh, by the way, Jessica, it's full of oil and gas and strategic minerals and resources. It's 3 times the size of Texas. So it would be a terrific situation for the United States to draw closer and closer. You're showing some of these advanced air defense systems that I inspected during my time as Supreme Allied Commander. I'm all for pulling Greenland toward us. Final thought here, let's recall that because of the NATO alliance, the island already has ironclad guarantees from NATO, from all 32 nations, from our collective $1.4 trillion defense budget, in addition to a U.S. base up there. So bottom line, again, let's find a win-win here that includes Greenland, includes the Danes, and recognizes the strategic importance of this island.
Vance's visit was not well received by the people of Greenland or Denmark. I want to play the Danish foreign minister's response.
We are open to criticism, but let me be completely honest. We do not appreciate the tone in which it's being delivered. This is not how you speak to your close allies. And I still consider Denmark and the United States to be close allies.
And Admiral, as you know, as you just said, Denmark is a NATO member. Why do you think that American officials are taking this tone? Why do you think they're pursuing this objective this way?
It's a mystery to me. It is counterproductive. clearly, the people of Greenland, there's only 50,000 of them. I mean, this is a retail conversation with them. And Denmark, of course, is a very small nation as well. And we are coming across as very heavy-footed in this, and we don't need to be. Again, the approach to be taken here is not Greenland is going to be part of the United States, no matter what anybody in Greenland or Denmark think. The approach to take is, how can we think about working together to enhance the collective security of the United States, also of the NATO alliance? Again, Greenland is parked right on that transatlantic bridge between North America and Europe. Final point, sometimes what you want to do is important, but how you go about doing it is even more critical. Here, I think we've got to take a smart diplomatic and economic tone to pull Greenland toward us.
I do want to ask you about Russia. Trump is now threatening additional tariffs on Russian oil, saying, quote, if Russia and I are unable to make a deal on stopping the bloodshed in Ukraine, and if I think it was Russia's fault, which it might not be, but if I think it was Russia's fault, I'm going to put secondary tariffs on oil and on all oil coming out of Russia. He also said that he was pissed off at Vladimir Putin. Those were his words. What do you think about this as a negotiating strategy?
I like it. As far as I'm concerned, the president has been too gloves off with Vladimir Putin through this whole process. So I'm very happy to hear the president of the United States say to Vladimir Putin, we are running out of patience. And if we can construct a negotiation here and a ceasefire, I think that's a very good thing. Now, there are a million different details that have to be organized here, to include what are the security guarantees for the Ukrainians to ensure that Russia doesn't reinvade? What does the demilitarized zone look like between Ukraine and Russia? What is Russia prepared to do in order to guarantee it would not reinvade Ukraine? Those all have to be part of this negotiation. But so far, as I've said before, I think Vladimir Putin, and just look at the smirk on his face, Vladimir Putin is playing rope-a-dope with the president. He's just giving a little bit on this energy infrastructure ceasefire, which hasn't really happened. Maritime ceasefire in the Black Sea, I don't see it happening. He's just trying to string this along, rebuilding his forces. I hope the president is pissed off at him, and I hope the president takes action. And by the way, secondary sanctions or secondary tariffs, two slightly different things, but both of those would put a chill down the spine of Vladimir Putin if enforced.
All right. Admiral James Stavridis, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
You bet.